The opening night opponents, the Vancouver Canucks, have been perhaps the surprise team of the 1991-92 season. The Sharks have been a steadily improving club that has made major strides in tightening up its defense and forcing the opposition to work a hard 60 minutes for a victory. A second half surge is what the Sharks are shooting for to make this season a successful one. Including that first evening, the Sharks and Canucks have met 5 times. Each has swapped 3-goal victories, but the other 3 have been 1-goal thrillers, and tonight should be no exception. Tonight, here in the bustling cosmopolitan city of Vancouver, British Columbia, Sports Channel sends your way season meeting number 6 between Smythe Division adversaries, the Top Gun Vancouver Canucks and the always competitive San Jose Sharks. We'll take the bait next.
The following is a special
Your duel with the Smythe Division leading Vancouver Canucks. And they have had a great first half of the season as we take a look now at the Smythe Division standings. Vancouver on top with 51 points, Winnipeg in second, Los Angeles climbing with a victory tonight, Calgary, Edmonton, and the Sharks. That's your order right now in the Smythe Division. Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe Starkey along with Dennis Hull. The Sharks beginning tonight a 6-game road trip. That's where they've had their problems this year, but they're playing better and better. Dennis Hull on the weekend, a Friday night win over the Flyers. Tremendous game against Montreal on Saturday, but nonetheless, an overtime loss 1-0. How would you expect the team to come out of that game? High from keeping it close or low from suffering the loss?
Well, Joe, like everything that the San Jose Sharks do, they do in a positive way, and they've taken a positive out of that game, saying that they played the best team in the National Hockey League even for 3 periods. So they're real high about that game.
They've been very competitive over the last month or so, particularly well, very tight defensively, and that's been led by the goaltending. No question, Jeff Hackett is playing superbly well.
Well, he certainly has, and especially the past 2 games against Philadelphia and Montreal, giving up just 2 goals. And Jeff Hackett has really played well, and Joey's played especially well in some of his better games against these Vancouver Canucks.
Yes. In fact, he's been superb in this building with that 1-0 loss a little earlier this season. Well, we've got a lot of excitement here tonight at the Pacific Coliseum, so stay tuned now for hockey. And we ask you now to tell you that tonight's San Jose Sharks game is brought to you by your local cable operator. Cable makes your television come alive. We pause now for this regional break. Gage getting ready to go here tonight. And welcome to Sports Channel America as you join our Sharks telecast tonight. We're delighted to have you with us all across North America. I'm Joe Starkey along with Dennis Hull as you look at the Sharks bench in their Pacific teal uniforms. After the All-Star break, that'll become the home uniform for the San Jose Sharks as the teams will reverse their uniforms, which is a great idea, Dennis Hull. Get everybody, particularly in the Bay Area, a chance to see all the uniforms around the league.
Yeah, it will be, and I hope some of those original teams wear some of their original jerseys.
Anthems, a sellout crowd here tonight in Vancouver. Let's take a look now at the officials for tonight's game. Veteran referee Andy Van Helleman. The linesmen are Shane Heyer and Brad Lazarowicz. Those are tonight's officials for the contest. And in the nets tonight, Kirk McLean, just named to the All-Star team, and why not? His second appearance, by the way. His record 21, 8, and 7 goals against average of 2.59. And look at that, 3 shutouts on the year in the first half of the season for Kirk. And at the other end, it is Jeff Hackett again tonight, who's been playing so very, very well. The goals against average dropping every game. It's down to 3.78, 4 wins against 13 losses, but in his last 7 games, a goals against average of about 1.65. So we're ready for the opening faceoff here in Vancouver, and it goes to Didick on the back line over to Randy Gregg, defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks. Their first line on the night is Vaux, Burkus, and Sandlak. And for the San Jose Sharks, it's Dean Evason. Here's a shot, though right off the opening moment, and it comes back out to the near boards. Sharks in their own zone. Burkus centers, and a shot goes over the top. Nice try there by Sandlak. Back out to center ice, and the Canucks chase it down. Back in his own zone, wheeling there, Gerald Didick up to center ice. Knocked back by Doug Wilson. Named to the All-Star team today from the San Jose Sharks. His 7th appearance it will be in the All-Star game for Doug. 6th with the All-Stars. The puck comes out to center ice. Back to get it is Sandlak in the neutral zone. Taken by Didick. Didick shoots it in. Goes wide of Hackett behind the net. He leaves it there. Now sends it around the far boards. Gets it to Perry Barazan, who tries to slam it out of the zone. It won't leave. Here's a centering pass. Comes out to the point. Held in. A nice effort there to hold it in by Merzen. But now the Sharks clear it out to center. Dana Merzen backhands it. Sharks take it forced offside is Kissio as he's hit by Jyrki Lume from behind. So we'll have a face-off just outside the blue line. We're just underway in Vancouver, and this telecast is presented by authority of the San Jose Sharks, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the descriptions, pictures, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the San Jose Sharks is strictly prohibited. And Dennis tonight, Rick Lee will be the head coach for the Vancouver Canucks because Pat Quinn is off at the meetings down in Dallas. The puck goes down into the Vancouver zone, and the Cliff Ronning line comes out on the ice. That means Courtnall and Linden, and these are the shooters for Vancouver. Oh, I think the meetings are in Florida. It's that other league that's having meetings. Let's get my sports straight. Puck comes out to center ice, and it's taken by Courtnall. Courtnall leads it up to center ice, and Bozak takes it away, and back it comes to Courtnall. He overskates it. Ronning takes it. Sharks get into the neutral zone. Back it comes to Vancouver, and they shoot it in. This game is just a minute and a half old. No score here in Vancouver. Around the boards it comes to Steve Bozak, who spent the last 3 years with the Canucks and decided to sign with the Sharks. He could have signed a one-year deal. Puck comes out to center ice, and we are having a little bit of an audio problem, so bear with us and we'll get that straightened out for you. Puck to center, Vancouver shoots it in. Goes to the near boards. Pavel Bure looking for it, but he's pushed off by Bruce, and it goes in behind the net. Now along the near side, Bruce couldn't get it. It's kept in the zone by Larionov, who scored the full hat trick against the Sharks in this last meeting between the two teams. He had all 3 goals in a 3-2 win. Back it comes to the near boards. David Bruce backhands, but it still doesn't clear the zone. Sullivan finally gets it out of there, and here comes Bruce to center. Bruce overskates it. Mike Sullivan backhands it in on McLean, and it goes behind the net. Taken there and fired around the boards by Robert Dirk. Back to the near side. Sharks steal it. Good effort by Pat Balloon. Balloon goes right to the goal line, tries to carry it in. It's knocked away in front, and Larionov takes it to the near boards. Canucks in their own zone, trying to bring it out. Robert Dirk up to center ice. One of the players that came over in the big deal with the Blues last March. Shot back in by San Jose, and the Sharks in the middle of a line change as Doug Wilson gets out on the ice again. Herkus comes out. Craigwell, so they're trying to get the whole line out right now with Herkus, Craigwell, and Presley. And they do, and the puck now comes down behind the San Jose net. Over to Bob McGill, the veteran defenseman for San Jose, clears it to Presley. He gets it to center ice and shoots it to the near board. In behind the net, McLean knocks it down there for Diddick. Diddick behind his own net. Now they get it back out to the point, and not quite well. I guess they did get it out across the blue line. It's shot back in for an offside. So we are just underway at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, British Columbia. There is no score between the Canucks and the Sharks, and we'll be back on Sports Channel. Bear with us, and we will hope to get that straightened out for you as soon as possible. And Dale Craigwell got his first goal for the Sharks just last weekend. Loses the face-off. Goes to the Vancouver line and back to the center ice area. Taken by Tony Herkus. A lead pass to Presley on the right wing. And Presley's offside. He had a little trouble getting it behind him. And it came across the line for an offside. Let's take a look at the individual leaders on both teams right now. In points, it's Brian Mullen, who is not playing tonight, out with a sprained knee for about another week. Pat Falloon and David Bruce are tied in the goals lead. Brian Mullen leads in assists. David Bruce in power plays for San Jose. Trevor Linden, a great season with 50 points. He leads in goals. He leads in assists. Jeff Courtnall, the leader in power play goals. So action continues here in Vancouver. No score. Only 3.5 minutes into the contest, and a chance for Cron if he could have beaten Doug Wilson, but he couldn't. He does come up with a puck. Keeps it in the zone. Presley clears the zone, gets it to center. Up the left wing side to Doug Wilson. Wilson has checked off the puck. It rolls by Herkus. He forces it into the Vancouver zone. Back to the near side to Peter Nedved. Nedved overskated the puck, almost put it in on McLean. He just seemed to go into space there for a minute as to where it was. My goodness. Shot back in by Herkus, back in behind the net. Taken there and shot around the boards by veteran Randy Gregg, the longtime defenseman at Edmonton. And now to center come the Canucks. Greg Adams shoots it behind the net. Knocked down by Hackett. In fact, Hackett is knocked down. Can't get back into the net, but the Sharks cover up for him, and Neil Wilkinson gets it out to center ice. Taken back by Jyrki Lume. Up to center ice and back into the Shark zone. Chasing it down, Tony Herkus, still looking for his first goal for the Sharks. He's been very effective as a playmaker, but no goals. Now a steal. A pass out in front to Sandlack. His shot is deflected by Herkus. Goes to the near boards. Sharks ridden off the puck. Held in and kept in by Vaught. This line was a terror against the Sharks in the last game. They were just all over him with aggressive play. Puck at center ice and a chance for Evason. Evason leads it right into backhander. A great try by Odgers goes over the top of the net. Jeff just back after a long absence with a hand injury, and he's got the puck again, and he tries to bring it in, but Fenton is forced offside by Tom Fergus. Vancouver and the Sharks, no score. We're in the first period in Vancouver. We'll be back in just a moment on Sports Channel. This is a recreation of a line that was together most of the year, Dennis.
For sure, and they had their first good chance. Jeff Odgers has sort of been missed, but he always gets a good chance.
He's a tough player, and with Link Gates out of the lineup tonight, just sitting this one out, Odgers will be the so-called enforcer for the evening if necessary. Odgers behind the net, tries to pass out in front to Fenton, can't get it, back out past McGill, and Bob chases it down to the San Jose zone. Banks it off the boards to Evison, gets past him to Cliff Ronning. Ronning checked off the puck. A shot comes off the left circle by Courtnall and rolls back out to Odgers. Odgers on the left wing, gets it up to Fenton. He's checked off the puck by Trevor Linden. Now to Kenny Hammond. Bouncing puck, McLean easily clears it, drops it to the side of the net, and taking it there is Robert Dirk, 25 years of age from Regina. Here's Wilson over to the right wing side, Regina I should say, back in behind the net. Regina Chaley, hallelujah. Back it comes to the point. Here's a shot out in front. Vancouver takes it along the near boards. And it's cleared out by Lidster. Lidster leads it to Ronning. He's got some help with Linden. They give it back to Lidster. He gets by Falloon at the left circle. Ronning is out in front. It goes to Courtnall. Vancouver. Courtnall shoots. Ronning was sitting all alone on the left-hand side of Hackett. And if he didn't touch it, he just watched it go in then because it sailed right at him.
Well, Joe, Pat Falloon didn't look too sharp on that play. He had a chance to grab the puck, and he didn't get it. And here you can see Pat. The puck comes right to him and sort of bounced off, my guess. And Courtnall, who scored the first goal against the Sharks in that initial game, got a great shot, and Ronning tipped it in to a wide open net.
Now Ronning was completely alone, almost as if they had a power play. He was so alone, but it isn't. And Ronning gets the goal for him. That's his 16th of the year. So it's 1-0 in favor of Vancouver, and an outstanding shot by Courtnall to set it up on the low hard shot that was deflected in by Ronning. So now the Sharks will try to come back. Give an assist also to Lidster on that goal. 1-0 Vancouver at 6:02 of the first period. Now the puck in the neutral zone to Doug Wilson. Back in behind the net. Last time here, this game was 0-0 until the third period when Vancouver finally got the only goal of the night. Puck goes down to the San Jose zone. Back to get it is Neil Wilkinson off of Hackett. Hackett is never, in the recent games, really, it's rare that he's given up more than 2 goals in an entire game. Bozak shoots it in, goes to the near boards. Berezan racing for the puck behind the net. McLean clears it to the near side. Bozak keeps it in, sends it to Berezan. Here's Kissio. He's got men out in front. Zettler was there. Bozak tries to stay out in front, being pushed by Bure. Back it comes to Kissio. Turns around. Out to Wilkinson. Slap shot. Deflected. Comes back to Pavel. Pavel Bure along the near boards. A former young Russian star. He's still young, but he's no longer a Russian. He brings it into the Shark zone, and it's knocked down by Hackett. Behind the net to Wilkinson. Sharks trail 1-0. The game is about 7.5 minutes old. Up to center ice to Perry Berezan. Puck goes in too deep. Room there for Peter Nedved. He's checked off the puck by Bozak. Bozak intercepted by Nedved. Nedved tries to carry it into the zone. Bozak cuts him on. Around the boards from Hackett to the near side. Cron takes it, loses it to Hammond, but it's stolen away by Vancouver. Adams passes to the corner to Cron. He was in too deep. He was just hoping for a deflection on that shot. Now McLean quickly out of the net, leads it to center ice. The Sharks are in the middle of a line change. McGill trying to protect defensively on Adams. Hackett gets the puck. At the far boards, Presley trying to pick it up. He can't get it. Canucks clearing right out in front, and it just gets away. Great opportunity that time on a chance for Adams, and now he'll leave the ice. Back down to Nedved. Nedved in the Vancouver zone again, almost being forced into his net. Twice now he's made mistakes in front of his goalie. Sharks trying to forecheck and keep them tied up, but here come the Canucks to center. Lead pass from Nedved on the left wing. Goes in too deep for Vaughn. Hackett clears it to the boards. Back out to the point, but it comes across center ice. At the blue line, the Canucks are offside as Fergus carries it in with a teammate still in the offensive zone. So the Canucks score early. It's 1-0, and we will now pause for this regional break. We're watching San Jose Sharks hockey on Sports Channel. Packet in his last 10 games.
Well, that's all-star numbers for sure. In the last 2 games, he went up against the 2 best goalies in the league and dueled them. Beat one and lost in overtime to the other one, Hextall and Roy.
You bet. 1-0 here at the Pacific Coliseum. Joe Starkey and Dennis Hull. And a pass right out in front. An open shot. Hackett somehow knocks it down. Rebound, score. Tom Fergus. And Hackett not getting up. He's still down on the ice. See if he's okay. He's very slowly getting back up. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah, I think he's okay, but you know, here's a goal by Tom Fergus, probably the best deal in hockey. It costs the Vancouver Canucks $5,000. He's playing out his options so they don't have a big contract to find. He gets the first shot away and the rebound comes right to him. I mean, he's really lucky. Left Toronto and he also got a good break on that rebound.
Give an assist to Gary Vaughn. And Fergus has his 6th goal. Also an assist on the play goes to number 25, Jim Sandblack.
Well,
So it is a 2-0 score in favor of the Vancouver Canucks, and the game is just 9 minutes old. We'll be back here in just a moment on Sports Channel. The Canucks, Tom Fergus, just coming over before Christmas, and what a Christmas present for Vancouver to just steal him out of Toronto. And of course, the question is, Dennis, always when a player comes over and makes an immediate splash, is this a temporary thing? Can he keep it up? May be the issue there, huh?
Perhaps, but he's real happy to be here, so that's important in how you play as well.
Puck right out in front. Herkus can't get it. Back out to the point to Zettler. Zettler's shot is knocked down by Ronning, and a 3-on-2 break for Vancouver. Ronning has Linden and Courtnall as they break into the zone. Here's Courtnall back to Ronning, who couldn't reach it. And at the far boards, Presley skates out for San Jose to Tony Herkus. Moves in on Jyrki Lume, and it's deflected upstairs into the seats. Let's take a look what's coming up here. At first intermission, we'll have Doug Wilson, and we'll also have Yesterday and Today Part 2. That's going to be real interesting. Some hockey stars of the past. Second intermission, Trevor Linden interview. So 2 All-Stars will be our highlight guest tonight on tonight's contest here in Vancouver. Doug just named to a 7th All-Star team, Dennis.
And well-deserved. He's had a tough start with injuries, but when he plays, he definitely is an All-Star. And of course, Trevor Linden's going to be an All-Star for a number of years.
Yeah, he's so young, just 21 years of age. And great for Doug Wilson to get that honor as well. And from the face-off, it comes to Hammond, who takes a soft shot, and it's knocked away by Lume. Lume gets it to Bure, and up the left wing side, and now a pass to the near side toward Larionov. Right out in front, it goes through the goal crease to the near boards. Sharks pick it up there. Fenton trying to get it out away from Bure. Now back down into the Vancouver zone. 2-0 Canucks. 9:53 to go in the first period. Along the near boards, Jyrki Lume takes it there. He's driven off by Fenton. Back to Bure. Bure, who paid part of the fee to get himself over here to Vancouver from Russia because of the price they were charging to let him go. And now along the near boards, the Canucks hold it in, continue to put the pressure on. Larionov to Bure. Tried to one-time it, and Hackett was able to stop it. He didn't get a good piece of stick on it. Back it comes to Bure along the circle on the near boards. Sharks really having trouble with the aggressiveness of Vancouver in the first period, and now Hammond is forced into a penalty as the puck comes out to center ice. It's a delayed whistle. Canucks have the puck. The goalie McLean has left the ice. It's still in the neutral zone. Fenton tries to get it. It goes to Ronning, finally touched by Odgers, and Vancouver will have a power play. 9:09 to go, first period, 2-0 Canucks. We'll be back in a moment on Sports Channel.
Pavel Bure's speed and quickness. He made a nice move. He was going to get by Kenny, like in football. He reached his hand out and got that holding penalty. But Pavel Bure's been a real find for the Canucks, although he's having trouble. I was talking to Burke today, the assistant to Quinn, and he's having trouble finishing off his goals. He's getting lots of chances, but he just can't seem to put it away.
Wonder if he maybe is having a little trouble with the quickness of the NHL so far. Maybe an adjustment factor. And right now a power play, though, for Vancouver. You saw the stats on the power play and penalty killing. The Sharks have gone from worst in the league to now to the middle of the pack. That's a sensational move up for a young team. Puck at center ice, controlled by Fergus. Fergus gets it over to Lume. Lume backing up at his own blue line as Ronning in the middle. Linden's out there. It comes to Courtnall. Courtnall across the blue line. Moves over to the left point. Ronning goes toward the net at the same time, and now the puck is cleared out of the zone. Lume has to go back and get it. 25 years of age from Finland. 88 Finnish Olympic team is Ronning, brings it right in, shoots, and Hackett stays with it all the way and forces it over the top of the net on the deflection. Back out to the point. Rolls in behind the net toward Doug Wilson. Wilson in a race for the puck along the near boards. Comes out to Courtnall. Courtnall's shot deflected out in front. Canucks hold it. Here's Linden. Linden spinning, spins it to the left point. He gets it to Lume. Lume almost trips. Over to Courtnall. Courtnall holds it out to Lume, straight down the middle. Over to the left side, over to Trevor Linden. Linden comes back out toward the point. Power play continues for 40 more seconds. Here it is behind the net. Canucks try to wrap around, and they can't quite get away with it. Ronning tried to sneak underneath Hackett. He's about the right size. Back out it comes to Fergus. Shot saved by Hackett. Rebound to Jay Moore. And banked out of the zone and down the ice in the power play down to 25 seconds.
And a great chance for Tom Fergus, who I think paid part of his fee to get out of Toronto, Joe.
And now the puck for Vancouver. Up the right wing side comes Greg Adams. Adams lets it roll in behind the net. Hackett gets it there. Along the near boards out to Kissio, who does a great job of breaking out in front of it before Dirk could get a shot at it. Power play just about over, as you can see. Back out to center ice. Canucks lead it 2-0. Here's a lead pass. Bure breaks in, has puck control, and Hackett stayed with him all the way and forced it wide. Vancouver fans want a penalty. That's what the boos are for. Kenny Hammond shoots it in, goes for his own rebound, goes into the corner, in behind the net, taken and shot around the boards. Back to Bure. Bure controlling it along the near boards. Sharks trying to steal it away, but they have not had a lot of time in the Vancouver end so far tonight. Neil Wilkinson shoots it around the boards, comes to the near side over to Peter Nedved. Nedved back to the goal line. He shoots at the left wing. Sharks complete a line change as David Bruce comes out on the ice. Bruce out there with Sullivan and Pat Falloon. Into the Sharks zone. Canucks hold it in. Braun along the near boards. Leads a pass into the corner for Nedved. Nedved tries to center, can't do it. Bruce clears it to the point, but not out. Stays in the zone. Here's Nedved trying to get control, but Hammond clears it out. Down the ice, McLean will protect as Kissio moves in on him. Kelly almost took it off his stick. Over to Randy Gregg. Back down the ice. And Doug Wilson takes it with 6 minutes remaining in the first period. 2-0 in favor of Vancouver. Mike Sullivan at the right wing. Sullivan checked off the puck. It's still rolling in front of him, though, and he comes up with it. He's got men out in front. He tried to spin, couldn't do it. And back out to Vancouver. Peter Nedved with help on the left wing. Gets it to Gino Ojic. Ojic driven off the puck, but still got a soft shot in on Hackett. Jeff just holds on. 5:44 to go. First period. 2-0 in favor of Vancouver. We'll be back on Sports Channel. The head coach of the San Jose Sharks. Probably finished his 30-mile run already for the day and just settling in now behind the bench, Dennis.
Well, Jack Ferrara, the manager of the Sharks, said that if George Kingston coached in the, the Adams division, he'd be able to run to all the games.
He's an ultra marathoner, for those of you who don't know that. That means he will run up to 100 miles. That sounds so depressing.
I can't even drive that far without stopping.
Where would I get a Hostess Twinkies if I had to run 100 miles? Now the faceoff down on the Shark zone. Over to the near side to Bozak. And down to the other end. Back to get it Vancouver. Sandlak banks it out to Lume. Lume gets it out to center. Pass Vaughn over to Fergus. Fergus at center ice. 2-0 Vancouver. 5.5 minutes to go first period. Shot from the point. Oh, another deflection try out in front. And Sandlak wasn't able to beat the goalie. Hackett to the puck. Now it goes down into the corner. Merzen gets it out across the blue line to center ice. Picking it up there is Vaughn. Vaughn trying to control it. And back up to Sandlak, but past him and behind the net. Racing down for it is Rob Zettler. Zettler along the near boards. Leads it out, but not out of the zone. And a wind-up shot by Courtnall. Over Wilkinson's head. Back to Jeff along the far boards. He spins it back in a little bit deeper. Mike Sullivan has a little room here. Sullivan just a young rookie for the Sharks, but he's played very well and looks like he's going to be a fine player as time goes on. Let's take a look at Neil Wilkinson, the veteran defenseman. He's one of the players on the Sharks that Doug Wilson said this is a guy with the kind of year he's having. If people knew about him, they put him on the All-Star team.
Well, that's the way Doug Wilson is. But if Doug Wilson wasn't going because of his past greatness, Neil Wilkinson would be the next Shark that should go to the All-Star game.
It's had an outstanding season for San Jose, the former Minnesota North Star. Wilkinson carries it into the Vancouver zone, goes in deep trying to get a backhander away, knocked off the puck. Lidster shoots it around the boards, but Herkus intercepts. Herkus still has it at the goal line, right out in front to Presley, and it's deflected by McLean. Back out to center ice comes Trevor Linden. The young captain of the Canucks passes over to Ronning, moves in, slap shot, misses to the near side. Presley tries to clear, but Ronning holds it in. Now it comes out to Presley. Presley brings it into the blue line, takes the shot, and there will be a penalty for that trip. Delayed call. Down the middle, McGill, and he misses an empty net, and McLean has to clear it away, and as he does, the whistle is called. There will be a power play opportunity coming up here for the San Jose Sharks. They trail 2-0 in the first period. We'll return in a moment on Sports Channel. Have a problem right now. It's scoring, particularly with Brian Mullen out of there. The power play has been hurting.
Definitely, and they've really had a problem with their power play all year, and they really don't know what the reason is. They just haven't been able to score goals at all on the power play. They've probably done better on the being shorthanded.
That's right. Now the puck goes in behind the net. Dean Evison is out there with Paul Fenton. Doug Wilson working the left point. Goes in past Fenton. And the Canucks cleared only to the point. Over to the right side. Kissio wind-up shot, save, rebound. Back to the near side. Canucks send it down the ice. Whoops up into the seats.
But I think part of that, Joe, has also been the fact that Doug Wilson has been often injured this year, and he's really the quarterback on the power play with his great shot. And we saw that the other night when Dale Craigwell scored his first goal on one of Doug's rebounds.
Doug will be our feature interview at the first intermission, and there's certainly a major honor for him to be the first ever San Jose Shark in the All-Star game. As you mentioned, he had the broken thumb problem, and then he had the ear infection, then he had the flu.
Right.
So he's lost a lot of the first half of the season, and so as he gets stronger and plays every night, it's really going to make a difference.
Well, he thought that ear infection sort of saved his marriage. He couldn't hear and his wife couldn't talk. So
that's right. She had learned trying to see at the same time. Evison in the corner trying to pick up the puck, and it's cleared out by Vancouver. And the power play is just under a minute and a half to go. 2-0 Vancouver, first period. Out to center ice, taken by Kissio. Kissio across the line, trying to get it to Fenton. At the boards, Vaughn picks it up. Good job by Fenton to keep it in the zone. Now along the near or the far side, Sharks still have the puck. Randy Gregg trying to take it away. Fenton comes in, sends it out to the point. Jay Moore, his shot, knocked down in front. And a lot of space here now for Fergus to send it to the other end.
And Kathy Wilson knows I'm just kidding, Billy.
Yeah, you're in deep trouble. Back in behind the net to Jay Moore. Moore backing up at his own goal line. Power play under a minute. And now out to center ice. Sharks bring it up, trailing 2-0. Falloon shoots it to the near boards. He didn't play so far away from here in his junior hockey over at Spokane. Up to center ice, though, taken away by Larionov, who had a shorthanded goal the last time these teams played. Back it goes to Wilkinson, in behind the San Jose net. Sharks Hammond loses it. Whoa, out in front, Sullivan beats Adams to the puck, who had a chance for a shorthanded goal. Now Falloon overskates the puck. Back in the neutral zone, it goes to David Bruce. You see the time on the power play. Over to the right wing to Wilkinson, up to Sullivan. Sullivan winds up, shot, kick out, rebound, and Bruce couldn't get his stick down on it. Stays in the zone. Back out to the point. Hammond down the middle. His shot deflected. Back to Wilkinson. Taken away there by Dana Merzen. And it jumps across the blue line to center ice. Wilkinson forces it back slowly, so Hammond has time to get it. And the power play is over. The teams are back at full and equal strength. The Canucks continue to lead 2-0. Here's a steal. Courtnall right in. He shot, but Hackett saved. Running behind the net. He spins out in front. Knocked away by David Bruce. Bruce leads a pass to center to Craigwell. Back to David. Tries to lead it back to Craigwell. Goes in behind the net. Overskates it. Back to the near boards. Canucks in their own zone trying to clear. Settler holds it into the point. Kept in by Craigwell, but back out across the line. There's your time remaining in the period. Shot back in on Hackett. Took that one like a second baseman as it goes around to the far side. A's need one right now, from what we hear, as Mike is leaving. Back out it comes to center ice, and taken by the Sharks. Up the right wing, Craigwell. Craigwell brings it in. Centers to Presley, and it's just off his skate. Now back to center ice. Zettler overskated it. Back it comes to Presley. A swing and a miss by Ronning. Strike one, as long as we're talking baseball. Now it comes back over to Vancouver. Up the right side to Cron. Oh, a nice nifty move. Just couldn't quite hold on to the puck. Back to the San Jose end. Canucks lead it 2-0. There's your call for a minute to go in the period. Vancouver holds it in. Hackett clears a shot from the point. This one goes through the crease. Back to the near side to Didick. Sharks have it. Clear the zone to center. Off the boards. Nice pass to Presley. He's one-on-one with Gregg. Still carries it in. Drops a pass. A shot off a leg. Back to the near side to Cron. Sharks keep it in the zone. Still plenty of time. Another shot right on the net by Evison. Back to the near boards to Vancouver. Vancouver can't get it out. It's taken by Herkus. He lost it to Didick. Diddick back out to the point as Wilson holds it in. Now back to Evason. Spin around by Presley. He'll get off the ice. Odgers races out to help him with time running out in the period. And the puck goes down the ice, and Doug Wilson will chase it down. This should be an icing call. And it is. We'll have a face-off at the other end with just those 10 seconds remaining here in the first period. 2-0 in favor of the Vancouver Canucks, who have had the best first half in their history as you look at the Sharks bench. Barry Berezan there.
Sharks had their best first half in history too, Joe.
That's right, Dennis.
And they're looking forward to an even better second half. The only problem is that you know, most of the teams, and we see that tonight with the Vancouver Canucks, they're not surprising anyone anymore.
Yeah,
you know, everyone
right.
knows that they're very competitive and they're ready for them, and you could see that the way the Vancouver Canucks started the game tonight.
Well, the Canucks are playing hard hockey every night now. There's no up and down season like they had for so many years. Here's Doug Wilson at the point, and a shot deflected off of Odgers goes to the far boards. Canucks take it and clear the zone out to center. Long shot goes wide by Fergus, and that's the end of the first period of play. So the Canucks put some pressure on Jeff Hackett very early and come up with a couple of goals in the first period of play. And so as the team skate off, here's the scoring summary. Vancouver scores. Cliff Ronning from Courtnall and Lidster at 6:02 for the 1-0 lead. And then less than 3 minutes later was Fergus from Valk and Sandlak to give Vancouver that 2-0 lead that they enjoy right now. So you're looking at the Pacific Coliseum in beautiful Vancouver on a spectacular day up here. Vancouver leads at 2-0. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Your career there, and now you go into the record books, of course, now, Doug, as the #1 Shark ever to go into the All-Star game. Special feelings about that?
Well, it's an honor to be able to represent the team in the All-Star game, especially the inaugural season. And it's going to be something. It's a showcase for the NHL, and it's fun to be part of it.
Tell me how you react to it after so many years. Now, you've been an All-Star before. You've been at various games. Do you keep the same thrill? Do you get that special excitement going back with all the other players?
Well, you do. I mean, to go out there, and I've played with many of the other guys that'll be there, the Robinsons and Messiers and Gretzky's and Canada Cups and Rendezvous, so you sort of get to rekindle the friendships. And it's an exciting weekend, and there's several other guys in our team I think that should be deserving to go also.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. It'd be nice if they could take more than one, but that's the case this year. Let's talk about the Sharks season, though, so far. Now we're at the halfway mark, and I think the team has been more competitive maybe than many people expected. There were certainly stories when the team came into being that, well, if they win 8 or 10 games, it'll be a great year. Well, you're just about at the 10 mark already. You're just one short.
Well, it's true, and what's happened is we've come in when parity is in the league, and also it's the first time an expansion team's ever come in by itself. So it's been tough, and we went through some adversity with a long road trip earlier in the year. But we've built from that and hung together, and I think we've done very well, and I expect much better things in the last 40 games of the year.
It's really interesting to watch the evolution of the team from the early weeks of the season, particularly when you had that grueling road trip where everything seemed to go wrong and the scores were so one-sided, to what now is a very disciplined team playing very well with one another.
Well, we're very well coached. I mean, to buy into a defensive system like this with a young team is, I think, is outstanding. Because what's happened is sometimes the players will sacrifice some statistics offensively when they're trying to prove themselves and earn a job on the team. Yet we've shown that that's how we have to play to win, and any success we've had is because they've bought into the system and played a team game.
From the defense out, from the goal out, really, that's the way the Sharks were built, and that's really paying off. Jeff Hackett is having a sensational run right now in the goal, and in addition, the defense is playing so very well, and maybe that's best indicated by your remarkable statistics on the penalty killing unit, which have gone from last in the early stages when the team's trying to create itself to now one of the best in the league.
We really have. Our last 20 games, we've made a lot of progress in a lot of areas, and defense is the one thing we can control. We don't have the offensive depth that the majority of teams have in this league, but through hard work and discipline, we can play defensively and keep ourselves in games.
Okay, it's been a great start for the first half. Wish you well in the second.
Thanks, Joe.
Doug Wilson, the all-star defenseman of the San Jose Sharks. We'll be back with more shortly from the Pacific Coliseum in British Columbia. Two to nothing. Bob McGill at center ice for the Sharks shoots it in. The Odgers line out. That means Odgers and Evason along with Paul Fenton. And the puck at center as Fergus line comes up the ice. Fergus up there with Sandlak and Balk, and they're offside at the Sharks blue line. Let's take a look at the first period stats as we get this time for the face-off here. There's your goals, your shots very one-sided. Power play shots dead even. Face-offs, Sharks have done very well in that all year, and there's your penalties in minutes.
Well, I'm sure the Sharks are in shock having 2 goals scored against them, but McLean hasn't been very busy at all tonight, just 4 shots. I think the guy who's given him the most trouble is Nedved, who lost the puck twice in front of him.
Peter Nedved is the Eric Nestorenko of 1992, I think. Eric always seemed to space out a little bit in those days with the Blackhawks and you. And Nedved is a player they keep waiting for great things to happen for. Just 20 years of age, though. He's very young, out of Czechoslovakia, and will. Up to center ice, here comes Kissio up to left wing into the Vancouver zone. He tries to drop a pass. Oh, and it's missed, and here's a great opportunity for Courtnall. Running, coming down the left side, shot save, rebound. He missed a second time as well. Back to the near side to Courtnall. He drops it back to Trevor Linden. He skated off the puck. Bozak goes forward along the fireboards. Ronning takes it away from him. He moves right in front, and Wilkinson clears it off. Out across the blue line to center. Here's Bozak up the left wing, and we get a penalty call coming up here. Interference penalty against the Sharks. 2-0 Vancouver, and they've got a power play coming up. We'll be right back.
This
Kelly,
yeah.
But Jyrki Lumme just seemed to leave the puck there. You can see where Kelly got the penalty, but Jyrki Lumme, the puck was right in front of him, and he backed away. I don't know whether he has depth perception problems or not.
So a power play coming up for Vancouver. They have a 2-0 lead. They could really get a handle on this game on their home ice if they pick up a goal here. So Courtnall back in his own zone, though, being forced backwards by Mike Sullivan with a strong effort. So Vancouver has to go in a little bit deeper. Jyrki Lumme takes it behind his own net. Sullivan again does the forechecking as a penalty killer. Forcing it back in a little bit further is David Bruce. Now, this has been a real strength of the Sharks, but the power play has been different, and the reason for that is it was easier to build from the goal out than it is to get the goal scorers. But this phase of the game has really come along very well, and it's cleared out to center again by David Bruce. Canucks go back to get it. 1:20 on the power play. Here comes Pavel Bure. Gaining speed, breaks into the zone, right out in front, he shoots, save, rebound, Hackett stops Adams somehow from close in on the rebound. Boy, Adams had a spectacular chance after a wonderful rush by Pavel Bure.
Well, Pavel Bure really does a wonderful job here, and he shows his speed and strength as he goes to the outside. He makes a great move and continues to hang on to the puck and make a great play. But there again is what the Vancouver Canucks are talking about. Perhaps he's not finishing it off, and I know this is a very tough place to try and finish off a goal from the seat of your pants. But I think as great as the Russian players are, one of the things that they don't do as well as North Americans, and that's play goal. And perhaps Pavel Bure is not used to the great goaltending that he faces every night in the National Hockey League.
Face-off comes to San Jose, but it didn't clear, but now Berezan does get it down to the other end. Bure just 20 years of age. He's got all the time in the world to become a star in this league. Back in behind the net to Gerald Didick. Didick, whose sister plays pro hockey in Switzerland, sends it up to center ice, goes down into the Shark zone. Kenny Hammond clears it to Berezan, and he gets it out. Back to get it is Doug Lidster from Kamloops right here in British Columbia. Back to Linden. Linden at center ice over to Cliff Ronning. 40 seconds to go on the power play, and back to the near side to Fergus. Fergus carries it into the zone, drops it back to Didick. Slap shot, lifts high. Round the boards and back out to the point, held in by Lidster. In behind the net, Bobby McGill wins the race for the puck, but doesn't get it out yet. Now it goes to center. Bounces over Lidster's stick, has to go back and pit it up with Steve Bozak right on him. 2-0 Vancouver, 3 minutes into the second period. Canucks bring it back up. Lidster passes on the right wing. Gets it to Linden, who shoots it into the zone to the near side, and cleared back out by San Jose. And the penalty just about over. McLean way out of the net to pick it up there. Drops it behind the net to Lidster, up the right side to Ronning. He's got Sandlak ahead of him, but Zettler intercepted that one. Now it's taken away, 2-on-1. Here's Ronning with help. He shoots, save, rebound. Comes so far out in front, the Sharks are able to bring it back. Kisiel carries it to center. Shot in by Zettler and in behind the net. Teams back at full and equal strength. 2-0 Vancouver. Sharks behind the net. Here's a chance for Zettler at the left circle. Doesn't take the shot. And the Canucks try to clear the zone, and it does come out to center. Landing on top of it is Paul Fenton. And the referee, has he blown a whistle? I guess not. So Benton just slowly, and I mean slowly, getting up. The clock has not stopped. Andy Van Hellemond says, get up, let's go. That was great.
And he never even brought the whistle close to his mouth. He kept it right at his side.
Nedved loses it to Craigwell, and Dale at his own blue line skates to center ice. Youngster from Toronto shoots it upstairs into the seats. So 15:44 remaining here in the second period. Canucks lead it by a score of 2-0. You're watching Sports Channel, and we'll be back.
Like, I don't know you. You best be sure.
A lot of nothing right now here, Dennis.
Well, I thought at first the whistle had gone and that they were just getting them untangled. And Jim Sandlak said, are you going to blow the whistle? Where's the puck, Lume said. It's underneath there. Are you going to blow the whistle or not? Are you? No, I'm not. He asked twice for a whistle blowing.
And of course, with no whistle, it's a wonder Sandlak didn't take the stick and start hacking into Hewen.
Sure.
Puck goes back down to the Vancouver zone. Randy Gregg takes it there. Back to the near side it goes. And cleared past Ojic out to center ice. Jay Moore shoots it back to the blue line. Craigwell winds up for a shot wide. To the far side to Tony Herkus. Herkus puts it on net, but it's blocked out in front and cleared to center ice. Doug Wilson is in a race now. He should be able to keep Bure away from it. Hackett gets it around the boards to the far side. Ojic and Jason Moore. Sharks in their own zone. And now Doug Wilson at his own blue line. Nice pass, left side. Brings it up, gets it to Herkus. Herkus into the zone. Goes in deep. He's got Craigwell out in front. Tried to give it to Presley, but he couldn't get a stick down on it. Here's a chance for Bure again. And this time he's got help from Ojic. He still carries and he shoots. Hackett with a save. Near boards to Presley. Back out it comes to center ice. Down ice goes Herkus, kicking at it with Lariano. In behind the net from McLean. Back over to Lidster to Lariano. Up the right wing, chance for Bure again as he brings it in. Winds up, shot wide. Back to the near boards. Falloon line comes out on the ice now for the Sharks. Pat up the right wing boards. In his own zone, leads it to Sullivan, too deep. Cleared by Dirk back into the Sharks end of the ice. 2-0 Vancouver. 14:12 to go, second period. Now up the left side from McGill as he leads a pass. Down it goes to Sullivan. Sullivan shoots it behind the net. McLean decides he better hold on, and he does. We pause now for this regional break. You're watching San Jose Sharks hockey on Sports Channel. Score and the time remaining here in the second period. Vancouver leading by a score of 2-0. Shots in this period 6-1 in favor of Vancouver, so they've had a big edge so far. Well, now it's 18-5, Dennis.
Well, Pavel Bure's probably had 3 or 4 excellent chances, and again, the case that he can't seem to put it away in the National Hockey League.
Cron sends it down to the other end. Neil Wilkinson will go back, and we'll get an icing call here. Bring it back down to the other end. So a face-off down at the other end in front of All-Star goalie Kirk McLean, who's having a sensational year. He's been in the All-Star game before 2 years ago, but as you see, he should very easily do that, to say the least. He's having a great season.
Well, one of the best trades the Vancouver Canucks ever made when they got McLean and Adams from New Jersey. He's been really the backbone of the Canucks in goal, and he really is a calm and a cool, collected goalie. He doesn't get excited about anything, and I think that allows him to play a lot of games, which he does.
Puck goes in behind the Vancouver net. They lead it 2-0. 13:42 to go, second period. Wilkinson tried to hold it in, but it jumped across the line, so he has to wait for teammates to clear. But now it comes to Cron. He lost it. Sharks get it back. Wilkinson in the neutral zone. Back it comes to Jyrki Lume. Lume, a fifth-year NHL player. Came over from Montreal in '90. Back it comes to the Sharks up the right side to Falloon. Falloon trying to get a little space along the right wing board. Still in possession. Carries it in. Still has it out to the point to Moore. He shoots it behind the net. Pass Bruce too far. Sharks are in the middle of a line change, so there was nobody on the far side of the ice. Here's Falloon trying to get out in front, but it comes loose to Cron. Now Cron across center ice. Pass up the right wing, gets it to Nedved. Nedved goes in deep on Moore, carries it right in, but Kissio is there to take it away, and the Sharks have some room. Possible 3-on-1 if they're quick enough, but coming back is Murzin. Here's the shot, knocked down by Lume, and Jyrki comes up with the puck. He moves up the right side and carries it to center with Moore and Wilson back for San Jose. Over to the far boards to Lume. Oh, a deflected shot right on Hackett. What a play by Jeff. Outstanding opportunity for Vancouver. I'm sure they thought they had one there. Just didn't happen. There's your score. We'll be back on Sports Channel. Sharks trailing 2-0 to the Canucks, the leaders in the Smythe division, in the midst of what should be their greatest season. On the face-off, Tom Fergus sends it in behind the Sharks net. It goes around the boards. Stopped there. And a pass behind the net is blocked away. Comes to the near side. Taken by Vaughn. Vaughn gets it behind the net over to Didick. Didick pushed by Bozek off the puck. They chase it in the corner. Back out to Fergus, who has a goal tonight. Shot from the point. Oh, my. Tremendous low, hard shot by Sandlak. And again, Hackett makes a big save. Into the Vancouver zone. Canucks have it. Now Kissio along the far boards. Kissio trying to keep it in the zone. Hammond can't do it. Berezan puts it back in. Delayed offside. The Canucks now, they'll go back to get it. Back in behind the net to Gerald Didick. He's checked off the puck. It goes out to the point to Hammond. Here's a shot out in front. Sharks try to keep it in the zone. Can't do it. Fergus to center. He's checked off the puck. Back to Hammond. Hammond's backhander goes back over to Randy Gregg. Gregg drops it back to Didick. Up to the Sharks blue line. Here's a chance here for Vaughn. Right in. Shoots. I don't know how he did it, but Hackett caught it in his glove.
What a save, and Jeff Hackett is keeping these Sharks in this game. He's made 3 or 4 exceptional stops here in the second period to keep this game close. And here's Ken Hammond knocked it down, but that only helped Volk, who beat Kenny to the puck, went in and made a nice move, and Jeff Hackett stayed right with him as Volk went to his backhand, and Jeff was right there with the big glove to make the stop. What a save.
Yeah,
if not for Jeff Hackett, you know, this game would be history already.
Now the shots are just overwhelming, as you can see now. It's just the Sharks are not getting any offense at all tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. Only one more meeting between the teams this year. 9-1 now in shots in the period. It's time to say hello to Cliff Roning's dad. He said it's okay now by the middle of the second period.
No, Dean Evison's dad.
Oh, Dean Evison's dad.
It's his birthday today.
Oh, well, then we won't sing because that'll drive our audience away, but happy birthday.
Well, we could say hello to Mr. Roning, too.
And let's say hello to Presley coming up the right side, and he's got help. Passes across, and it's deflected, though. Good work by Lidster. So the Sharks had a possible 3-on-1, but Lidster broke it up. Canucks bring it back up. Out to center ice comes Ronning. Ronning to the blue line. Shoots it into the Shark zone. In behind the net. Zettler takes it. Zettler backs up. Little pressure. Up the middle it comes to Craigwell. Craigwell moves across center ice. Up the right wing. Into the Vancouver zone. A centering pass in behind the net. McLean comes out of the net. Sharks had a chance there for a moment, but it's tied up behind the net, and we'll get a face-off. 11 minutes to go here in the second period. Get Andy Van Hellemond working on that net that came a little bit loose. Trevor Linden will be our guest at the second intermission. A tremendous talent at just 21 years of age. And look at the stats that he's going to set this year. With 50 points already on the season, this is going to be a remarkable season for not only him, but his teammates on the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, he's a remarkable young player and deservedly going to the All-Star game, but the Vancouver Canucks have reclaimed a lot of players from around the league who are doing a good job for them, and they didn't get a chance to play with other teams like Lou May, Walters, Fergus, Babbage, and Randy Gregg, and they're a big part of this Vancouver Canuck team.
Doug Wilson off the face-off. A deflection misses by Odgers. He couldn't get his stick on it. Odgers takes it back to the circle. His shot deflected to the far boards. Pavel Bure only out to the point. Doug Wilson really rips a shot, but it goes to the corner. Fenton into the corner with Odgers. They try to keep the Canucks tied up. Good pressure right now by the Sharks. But here comes Vancouver back to center. Larionov shoots it into the San Jose end. In behind the net to Wilson. Over to Larionov. He and Fenton tied up along the boards. Paul gets it out of there. Leads it to Odgers. Odgers to center ice. 2-0 Canucks. We're about halfway through the second period. In behind the net. It's left by picked up by Dana Merzen. Up the right wing boards. Here comes Bure again. He's knocked down off the puck. Back to Perry Berezan. Berezan for the Sharks. Tries to lead a pass. Nobody home. Here's Larionov. Back over to Bure. Bure brings it into the zone. And it's cleared back out to the Sharks line. Pass intercepted by Merzen. He shoots it back in. Right now Didick trying to get on the ice for Vancouver and does. Back along the near boards it goes. Sharks in their own zone. And out to center comes Evison. Leads a pass at the blue line. Bouncing puck in too deep for Bozak to control. Sends it back in behind the net to Berezan. He and Gregg fight for it. Now to Larionov. Larionov at the goal line. Canucks bank it off the boards to the near side where Adams picks it up. Loses it to Kissio. Kissio shoots it back in. Kirk McLean stops it there. Canucks out of their own zone to Adams. And down the ice past everybody. Should be an icing as McGill goes back to get it, and that's the case. So a face-off at the other end. 9:24 to go. We're in the middle period, and the Canucks lead by a score of 2-0 here on Sports Channel. Doing pretty well too. They're on top of the NBA Pacific Division. David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs are knocking on the Midwest Division's door themselves. So watch the two teams go head-to-head when the Spurs take on the Warriors Friday night at 7:30, only on Sports Channel Pacific Time. Now the puck goes out to center ice, and back to get it is Neil Wilkinson. Hackett comes out to help a little bit, leaves it behind the net, cleared over to the fireboards. No scoring so far in the period, but here's Pat Falloon breaking to center for San Jose. His pass led up the left wing for David Bruce. Randy Gregg trying to take him out of the play behind the net. Pass out in front. Canucks grab it. Cron pass up the right wing side to Greg Adams. Settler back on defense with Wilkinson. They drop a pass, and the shot by Diddick goes wide. To the near boards, Canucks hold it in. Shot further back in by Nedved. In behind the net to Zettler. He gets it over to Sullivan. Mike Sullivan along the near boards. Just flips it to center. Sharks have had to do that a lot. They've had very few rushes tonight, Dennis, where they've really had a coordinated chance to score.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks are doing a good job of getting on them right away, much like Montreal did the other night, and they really just have to get the puck out of their own zone.
Puck at center ice. Shot back in by Adams. There's no question they missed Brian Mullen. He'll be out for about another week or so with that strained knee. Back in behind the net to Wilkinson. He shoots it down the ice. Could be an icing coming up here as Robert Dirk goes back to touch the puck, and that's the case. So bring it back down to the other end. 8:14 to go here in the second period. The Canucks have really rebuilt their team, Dennis, in the space of less than a year.
Well, they have.
Look at the Sharks, Ben.
Yeah, Bob Murdoch, who's their special teams sort of coach. But I was talking to Brian Burke of the Vancouver Canucks, and he was saying, a lot of people thought they were going to fold about 10 or 15 games ago when they had a little downer. But he said, this is a good enough team that we just got by that little down period, and they're right back playing as well as we did earlier in the season. So they're real happy with the team that they have right now, and the Sharks are real happy with Dale Craigwell, who, as you mentioned, scored his first goal the other night, and he was a happy young man.
Yep, got it against the Flyers, and it was the winning goal besides. So that one will be bronze, like the gold medal from the joke you were telling me the other night. Back out to the point. And back in it goes into the San Jose zone. It's an offside here.
Well, Jack Farrar, the general manager of the Sharks, who thinks of people first all the time, and he's an amazing guy, but he's going to make sure that Dale Craigwell gets a tape of that goal. So we'll be part of his first goal forever, Joe.
So a face-off in the neutral zone. We're talking about the addition of these players. Rouning 15 goals, 30 assists. Courtnall 17 and 21. That's the kind of things that have really turned this Vancouver team around.
Exactly. I don't know how you'd replace those goals.
Doug Wilson now to center ice. And it's led down to Craigwell. He's onside. He moves in. He shoots. And McLean makes the stop. Craigwell put a pretty good move on him, but McLean wouldn't budge and made a strong save. Back to Presley.
And lost his catching glove as Craigwell went by. That's very unusual. He would have had a tough time catching one with his bare hands.
Oh, my goodness, I guess.
Except if you were shooting, Joe, I'm sure.
Here's Presley! Oh, my, McLean shows that glove hand right there on Presley to keep the Sharks off the scoreboard. As close as they've come in that series. We'll be back here in just a moment.
Heads up, a nice move. And Kirk made a great save, but Robert Dirk, as he was going by, took his glove with him. And fortunately, he got it back in time to make this save on Presley. But Robert Dirk went and got his glove and brought it back to him, which was a very smart play, since he's the one who knocked away from him.
And if he hadn't, that's a goal right there.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I guarantee he would have tried to catch it barehanded.
Yeah. Out to the point it goes to Kenny Hammond. His shot is blocked, and it comes out to Courtnall. Courtnall up the left wing. Shoots it in wide of Hackett. Back to get it is Hammond. Banks it out across the blue line. Comes out to center ice. Canucks have it. They lead 2-0. 7:14 to go in the second period as Hammond backs up for it in his own zone. Now the near side to Odgers. Well, you sure saw why Kirk McLean's in the All-Star game with plays like that on back-to-back opportunities. Fenton at the fireboards doesn't clear it out very well, and the Canucks are able to keep it in. Ronnie loses it, though, to Hammond. And he shoots it to center ice, and Vancouver goes back for it as Dana Merzen chases it down, a former #1 pick at Hartford, whose dad is a professor at the University of Calgary, taught there and does teach there at the same time that George Kingston did. Puck goes into the zone. Running's knocked off the puck. It's along the near boards. Linden fighting for it there, tied up with Odgers, and we'll get a face-off. And a stoppage of play here and a line change. Well, it isn't too early to start thinking about next year. The Sharks have become a very hot ticket in their first season on the ice, so don't miss a minute of the exciting action of season number 2. Sign up now for full season ticket plans for 1992-93 season at the Cow Palace. A deposit of $150 per seat holds a place in line for a new full season ticket buyer. Send your name, address, date, time, phone, and deposit of $150 per seat to that address. 1992-93 season tickets, San Jose Sharks, 10 Almaden Boulevard, Suite 600, San Jose 95113. Remember, that's for new full season subscribers only. If you're a current ticket holder, you'll be contacted for renewal.
And here's Cliff Ronning, who
ouch,
size hurt him a little bit there as Ken Hammond rocked him.
Back out to the point it comes, and Greg holds it in. Greg, who all but retired last year and then decided to come back with Vancouver this year, and though they got his rights early last season, he decided to stay home.
Well, he didn't have another job. He was only a doctor.
That's right. But he didn't. Well, let's get on with it. Here's no doctor jokes. There's Greg back over to the far side, controlled and shot in by Diddick. And we get a whistle for a face-off with 6:11 to go here in the second period. Get a couple of hellos in as we take a look at Gino Ojic.
And Gino Ojic is out there with Pavel Bure and Larry Onoff, sort of as a protector for those two guys, classy players. And Pavel Bure, I'm not sure he knows exactly how to play North American type hockey, and he's starting to run into people and trying to be physical, but sometimes he picks the wrong guy. And I think Gino's out there to make sure that if that wrong guy decides to turn on Pavel Bure, Gino is there to help him out.
You notice that Ojic's #1 and the Sharks' Link Gates is #2 in penalty minutes on the year. Link, though, is not playing here tonight. 185 minutes there for Ojic. Here's Jay Moore in his own zone. Gets it out to center ice. Berezan leads it up to Kissio. Knocks it down. Saved by McLean. Knocks it away with his stick in behind the net. Under 6 minutes to go in the period. 2-0 in favor of Vancouver. Sharks have played a much more aggressive period in this one. And it didn't start happening until about 5 minutes in either. But they have really changed their style of play as we've gone through the second period. They put a lot more pressure on Kirk McLean, but they are still scoreless. Pavel Bure at center ice is knocked down. Puck goes into Adams. He shoots it wide. Far boards to Perry Berezan. Berezan banks it to center ice. Canucks go back for it. Taken by Lidster. Lidster shoots it to the blue line, and Bozak drops it back over to Doug Wilson. Now Wilson to center. Lead pass at the blue line, and a little bit too deep as Dirk is able to clear to the corner away from Bozak. Back to the near boards. Canucks in their own zone. Out to the point. McGill, a low hard shot saved by McLean. Balloon looking for it along the near side. Spinning around, still has possession. Takes it in behind the net. Still controlling, and there are men out in front if he can get it to Bozak. Back along the near boards. Patty still in control. Great effort. Back it comes to Sullivan. Sullivan at the goal line. He's skated off the puck. Comes back out to the point. McGill knocks Adams off the puck. Back to Doug Wilson. McGill at the far board shoots it in. Under 5 minutes to go in the period. Canucks lead 2-0. Over to the far side, Vancouver starts to bring it back out. Smythe division leaders. Richard Cron brings it to the blue line. Sharks take it away, lose it. Stays in the zone. Back to Nedved. Now Bob McGill back in the Sharks end of the ice. McGill tries a pass to center, hit a skate, and now it comes out to Bruce. He's got Falloon on the left. But a line change coming up as Falloon and Sullivan get off, and Craigwell enters the fray along with Presley and Herkus. Back down ice comes Vancouver. Nedved sends it behind the net. Over to Jeff Hackett. Hackett to the far boards. Sharks break up. Over to the right side. Bringing it up as McGill. Winds up from the red line. Takes a shot. He'll get off, and Wilkinson will enter on defense for San Jose. Under 4 minutes to go. Shot by Wilkinson. Goes to the near boards. Canucks have it there. Take it behind their own net. And back out to center comes Fergus. Fergus is up the right wing. A lead pass for Sandlak. Racing Zettler. Pass comes off to the side of the net to Vaughn. Had a chance there for a moment. Now back to Zettler. Zettler hit from behind by Vaughn. Coming in to help. Canucks grab the puck right behind the net. Coming to the near side is Sandlak. He sends it back out past the point to Jyrki Lume. Lume at his own blue line. Just got by Presley. Carries it in himself. Still in control. Drops a pass. Chance here for Bullock. Save. Hackett. Cleared away to the near boards to Presley from Wilkinson. Now Herkus to center shoots it in.
Well, the pace has certainly picked up here, Joe, as this period has gone on.
One thing I've noticed too is this is the most responsive Vancouver crowd I can ever remember here. Usually they've been very, very quiet over the years, maybe because the teams have been very good, but they're really into it, aren't they?
Yeah, they used to be the quietest in the league, and probably right for good reason. They didn't have a very good team to cheer for. They certainly do this year.
Up the left wing, Fenton shoots it in. Blocked back out to the blue line, and here comes Linden. Linden's got a chance. He breaks it all the way. He shoots. Hackett able to block it away. Boy, what a burst of speed, though, by Trevor Linden. He gets it behind the net. Needs some help. He's knocked off it by Jay Moore. Moore off the glass gets it to center ice. And the Canucks will chase it down here. Whoa, rolls right in through the crease. Icing call, bring it back down to the other end. So with a score 2-0 in favor of Vancouver, we'll be back in just a moment on Sports Channel.
Linden, look at this. Look at him go to the outside. Turn Jay Moore inside out. Jay Moore cut him down, and Trevor was looking for a penalty there, and perhaps he had a bit of an argument.
6'4", 205, age 21. And now the puck down in the Shark zone. Puck is down to 2 minutes to go in the second period. Hammond behind the net, racing for it there with Cliff Ronning. Lost it to Kissio. Kissio shoots it off the near boards to Berezan, and back down ice goes Vancouver to pick up the puck. Jeff Courtnall takes it there. A BC native over to the far side to Berezan. Berezan chases it into the corner. Bozak comes out in front, hoping for a pass out there, but it's still tied up in the corner. An opportunity there. Kissio tried to get it to Bozak, couldn't spin it out. Still tied up, and Greg comes in on it. Andy Van Hellemond watches the dance, and it goes to the far boards to Linden. Linden and Bozak still down on the Vancouver end. Now the Canucks break out to center, bringing it up and shot in by Diddick. To the near side to Courtnall. He's skated off the puck. Stays in the zone, though. Oh, my. Kissio's in big trouble, and he knows it. Pass out in front through the crease. Comes to the near side. Now, Kissio would never do that on purpose, but he's going to be called for the boarding. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and that's why they call that penalty, because it's so dangerous. As you can see, the Vancouver Canuck down on the ice.
Well, Kelly, you can see him roll his eyes. They are really tough on enforcement now of this rule, and he didn't mean to do it. In fact, the minute he did it, you could see, you could see a look on his face that, oh no.
Yeah, and he's going to draw a 5-minute major for that
absolutely
play.
The call is absolutely proper.
Yeah, it's the boarding when the player is that far away from the boards. It's very dangerous, as you can see. He's a couple of steps away from the boards, and you know, as he goes down, you can hit your head into the boards. You know, the closer you are to the boards, you know, that's not even a penalty. But when you're away from the boards like that, it can be very dangerous.
And you can see that Kissio knew what he did by the turnaround look. He was looking right back at the official like saying, oh no, you know, I didn't. And I don't think he realized, because Kissio's not a big man, I don't think he thought the way he hit him that it was going to send him down either.
Right.
But he's going to get the game misconduct and the major. It's going to be a big power play opportunity of 5 minutes for Vancouver. In the meantime, though, let's worry about the player.
Exactly. And Jeff Courtnall looks like he's going to be all right. And he's another BC native, which the Vancouver Canucks have done a lot of, bringing some of their native sons home. I think they have 6 or 7 of them on the roster. And Jeff Courtnall happens to be one of them.
Okay, we'll take one more look at how it happens here.
Yeah, a number of years ago, that's just a 2-minute penalty for cross-checking, but it is so dangerous that they've made it a major penalty, and probably rightly so.
Yep.
But you're right, you know, Kelly Kissio is not a big guy, and you know, Robert Dirk's going to come in and say something to him, and Kelly doesn't care how big they are. Come on, he says, the bigger they are, the harder I'll fall.
Yeah, Dirk is 6'4", 218. So that's a considerable margin over under 6 foot Mr. Kissio. Now what this is going to do is going to give Vancouver a 5-minute power play, and even if they score, nobody goes back on the ice for San Jose.
Right.
A major is not replaced.
Right. They could score 3 or 4 goals, and Kelly would still, or the player would still not come out of the penalty box.
And Kissio, of course, is gone.
Right.
So now the minute is all that remains in the second period. If Vancouver can pick up a goal here before the period ends, they're going to be in terrific shape. But remember, the Sharks penalty killers now ranked with the best in the league. In behind the net, Hackett sends it to the far boards to Zettler. He can't quite get it. It's kept in by Fergus, who has it at the right circle. Linden is setting up in front of the net, and Fergus trying to set it up to him, but instead it comes out to Lume. Back over to Fergus. Linden is still down the slot. Lidster's open on the left side. Back in behind the net to Ronning. Cliff Ronning takes it behind the net, right out in front. A quick hard shot on Hackett, but good angle coverage that time on Fergus's shot. Hackett was able to stop it, and now the puck goes into the seats. And 21.5 seconds is all that remains in the period.
Well, you know, we talk often about how well the Sharks have been killing off penalties, and they really have been doing a good job. But Jeff Hackett is a big part of that as well. You know, he's been playing so well that even though they get some good chances on the power play, Jeff has been coming up real big.
And Vancouver's 0 for 2 so far tonight as you take a look at Jeff. Face off in the neutral zone. Igor Larionov, 31 years of age, from Russia. The Red Army team came over in the summer of '89. Great star in the 80s with the Russian team.
And he's beat the Sharks the last 2 games, getting all of the goals in San Jose, and the 1 goal, a shorthanded goal here when the Sharks lost 1-0.
That's an interesting point. Of the last 2 games before tonight, he scored every goal for Vancouver, and they won both games. Now the puck at center ice, controlled by Lume. Oh, one of the Sharks went down at a very strange angle. Worried about him there for a moment. Back to the near boards on a good try there. And back out it comes to Laureano. He passes to the right circle. Slap shot. What a kick out by Hackett just to beat the clock. So the Canucks swarming, and the power play will continue for almost 4 minutes into the 3rd period, and that's no matter how many goals they score or don't score.
And Pavel Bure's having a tough time scoring.
Here we're going to look at this again, how close this came.
And you know, Bure's had at least 5 or 6 good chances, and he's tried beating the Jeff on rushes and on all kinds of shots, and he's having no luck at all.
In the 2nd period,
nobody had any luck.
That's right. So although there was more pressure by San Jose, no goals, and so that's it. At the end of 2 periods of play, Vancouver leading by a score of 2-0, and we'll be back with intermission features in just a moment on Sports Channel. Certainly concerned about the circumstances right now here, Dennis.
And he can wait until near the end of the penalty time to put someone in there, but sometimes it could backfire on him if you know, there's no whistle when the penalty is over.
Because you can't come off the bench. You've got to come out of the penalty box. Puck in behind McLean, behind the Vancouver net, and it gets it over to the far boards to Jyrki Lume. And Courtnall on the ice. He was the player knocked down by Kissio, but he's just fine. In fact, he's right in front. What a pass to Ronning, who scores on a little tip off the pass in front of the net. Great play.
Well, a great start for the Vancouver Canucks on the power play, and as we mentioned, they can do that as often as they can. But Courtnall is obviously very good. Linden gives him a beautiful pass, and Courtnall makes a nice return pass, or a continued pass, over to Cliff Ronning, who goes for the net stick on the ice, and Jeff Hackett has no chance on that one. A great 3-way passing play.
Well, that's the 2nd time tonight that Courtnall has handed a goal to Cliff Ronning with a perfect pass. So it is now 3-0. It's a power play goal. Assists go to Courtnall and Trevor Linden. But again, I'll remind you, player does not come out of the penalty box. It remains a power play opportunity for Vancouver. Sharks though with a short-handed chance. Here's Bozak, right in, still has it. Never got the shot away. And it's taken by Lume. Now the Canucks across to center ice as Courtnall brings it up. Courtnall pass to the left wing. Ronning drops it back to him. Shot it off the glass. Goes in behind the net. Bob McGill trying to clear, but only out to the point as Lume holds it into the blue line. Passes over to the right wing, over to Ronning. Back out to Lume. Lume being poked at by Berezan. That's the first time the Sharks have given up a power play goal in a long time. Here's a shot. Goal! Another goal for Ronning. He's got a hat trick. He deflected that one with a stick about halfway up above his chest. That happens about once in 1,000 times where it'll deflect that high and go in, Dennis, but they got it.
Well, for sure, but anything high on Ronning isn't very high on anyone else. But Lume gets a good shot, and it's that power play where they have 3 guys out at the blue line, and that was deflected, but I think by Jeff Courtnall gets this one, Joe.
Yep, you're right. That was Courtnall in front of the net, not Ronning, and it was up fairly high, and he put it in, and Courtnall deserved that because he's been setting up Ronning all night.
And it's, you know, very unusual 2 goals in 1 power play, and maybe they're not finished yet.
So back into the Shark zone, but they're offside. Lume gets the assist on Courtnall's goal. And so we'll take a timeout. The score, Vancouver 4 and the Sharks nothing. Early 3rd period. We'll be back in just a moment on Sports Channel. On the Vancouver power play, they lead it now 4-0. They've scored twice here. Adams driven off the puck. Wilson chases it into the corner. Ian Burry fight for it there. Still stays along the near boards. Sharks David Bruce trying to get it out of there. Back in it comes to Burry, who's already had 7 shots in this game with no goals. Stays in behind the net. Adams looks for it. Ian Sullivan tangle. Power play still has close to 2 minutes. Back out to the left point. Back it comes to Litzter. Litzter slap shot. Hackett makes the save. Comes back out to Bruce, and he sends it down to the ice.
Yeah, Pavel Bury's tried everything to score, and 7 shots. That's an amazing number, and not having scored any goals.
Back comes Vancouver again. Another opportunity. Pass drop to Burry. Moves and he shoots it wide. Larionov looking for the rebound. It's cleared to center. Sharks in the neutral zone trying to grab possession, but Vancouver has it. Back to Larionov. He drops it back into his own zone, and Lume chases it down.
And Pavel Bury, to have that much talent and only 6 goals, you know, he's going to get frustrated, or he's one of these nights he's going to get 6 or 7 goals.
Right. In his own zone, Herkus clears it to Wilkinson. Back along the near boards. 4-0 Vancouver, 3rd period. And now with those 2 power play goals, because of the major opportunity, they can change their whole style after this power play and just protect the lead. Along the far boards, Wilkinson gets it to Craigwell. Craigwell can't get it out. It's tied up along the boards. Remember now, the Sharks haven't scored in an awful long time, too, after being shut out by Montreal on Saturday. This is over 5 periods of no goals for San Jose. Back out it comes to the point, and back it comes to Courtnall. Courtnall down the middle, and he lifts it way upstairs.
And with Mullen and Kissio both out, you know, a couple of their best offensive players, they'll certainly be hard-pressed to score some goals.
Yeah, that's a real factor right now. Kissio throwing out and Mullen out with a bad knee. So Vancouver really in control at the moment, 4-0. Things can turn around in a hurry, but the Sharks are going to get some breaks to have to do that.
Well, the worst possible scenario happened with Kelly Kissio getting that 5-minute penalty. And although Jeff Hackett kept the Sharks in the game, you know, to try and kill off that 5 minutes, it's very difficult with a very talented Vancouver team.
Peter Nedved ready for the face-off. And the puck goes back to Bob McGill, who clears down the ice. And it goes right in on Kirk McLean. So the power play finally just about over. It's down to just, as you see, 15 seconds. Back to the near boards, taken by Litzter. He shoots it over to the center ice area and taken by Nedved. He moves up the right wing, being pursued by Sullivan. His backhander goes wide. Over to the far boards to Vaughn. You can hear the goalie at the other end signaling that the penalty's about over. That's what that's all about. He bangs the stick down to let his teammates know that Odgers, who was serving the penalty, has come out on the ice. Vancouver keeps it in the zone, however. Nedved turns it around and shoots it to Vaughn. Vaughn chased off the puck by Hammond, and it's banked off the boards, but only out to the point, and Litzter takes it. He sends it back over to Dirk. Dirk's shot is blocked, and the Sharks have it, but can't clear. Still stays down to the San Jose zone. Poked at, and back out it comes to center ice, and Dirk goes back to get it. Over to Litzter. He shoots it back in. In behind the net on Jeff Hackett. Over to Bob McGill. Vancouver's in a line change as they race new players back out on the ice, and Ojic, Larionov, and Bure. Back it comes to the far boards. Kron is out there now, though, with him. Over the far boards, it comes to Kron. Kron takes it there. Back out it comes to the point. Grabbed by Moore. His pass deflected, and Vancouver's got some space on the far side. Here's Adams racing in quickly. Pass to Ojic. He shoots. Hackett. Superb save. Held in by Vancouver. Along the near boards, Ojic spins around and shoots it through the crease. Now Jeff Odgers for San Jose gets it to Fenton. Fenton across center ice shoots it in. Comes to the near boards, taken there by Evason. He leads a pass, shot by Fenton. Bounces in on McLean. Easy play for him, and he gets it to Kron. Kron, a Czechoslovakian player, drafted by Vancouver in '85, but couldn't leave Czechoslovakia till last year when things smoothed out. And another big play by Hackett. Looks like he hurt his foot on that one a little bit. I don't like it. At the other end, he seems to be grimacing in pain. Here comes a Zettler. His shot right through the crease and knocked away by McLean. Far boards to Bozak. 14.5 minutes to go. 3rd period. 4-0 Vancouver. Right now the class of the Smythe division. It goes to Wilkinson on the far boards. He shoots it in. McLean sends it to the near side. Sharks try to keep the heat on, see if they can make a run at this thing. But they're way offside here as Perry Berezan grabs it and puts it back in. So there's timeout here in the third period. 4-0, 14-13 to go. We'll be back in just a moment on Sports Channel.
Gino, who's a fan favorite here, and Gino just missed.
Back out to center ice. The Sharks send it back into the Vancouver zone. To the near boards. It's taken there by Lume, and back out to center. Sharks grab it. Berezan, he overskates it. Taken away by Courtnall. Boy, Courtnall's had a great night. Shot in by Hammond. Courtnall takes it at the goal line. He's had 2 very, very important assists. He's basically set up the goals and then scored one himself. Now Dana Merzen leads it up the left wing, but Bob McGill has it in his own zone. Cleared it right to Trevor Linden. Berezan behind the net over to Kenny Hammond. Hammond tries to lead it at center ice, a little bit too deep for Bozak. McLean comes out to knock it down, gives it to Lume. 13.5 minutes remaining, third period. Canucks up 4-0. Courtnall drops a pass, comes back out to Lume, stays in the zone. Poked at, stayed right on the blue line, wouldn't leave. Back out it comes now to Falloon, and the referee gets in the way. It hit Andy Van Helleman. So we pause now for this regional break. You're watching San Jose Sharks hockey on Sports Channel. Off, 13 minutes to go. This is Joe Starkey with Dennis Hull, wherever you're watching North America. Hope you enjoy our telecast tonight as David Bruce brings it up and takes a shot. It's deflected wide. McLean gets it, sends it over to the far boards. Sullivan fighting for it there. And Bruce keeps it in. Goes to Sullivan. Sullivan backhands it behind the net. Lots of room for Lidster. He gets it to the near side over to Sandlak. Sandlak shoots it back and gets it over to Dirk. Dirk up to center ice. When it's 4-0, do you throw all caution to the wind, Dennis, or do you try to be just, let's hope things go well and not make it worse?
No, they have to open up. The Sharks have to try everything to get back in this game, and taking chances is the only way.
Here's Bruce up the left wing. Shoots it in. Sharks in a line change. Wilkinson races out with Zettler, Craigwell, Tony Herkus. At the near board, Sharks steal it. Pat Falloon at the circle. Falloon tries to spin around for a shot, can't do it. And it comes over to the far boards. Caddy hasn't had many chances in recent games.
Well, he hasn't, but you know, Doug Harvey said you play the game, the best coach is the scoreboard. If you look up there and it's 2-1, you don't take any chances. But when it's 4-0, you do whatever you can to try and get back in the game.
Long slap shot is right on net by Fergus, easily cleared away, and here comes San Jose. Wilkinson winds up for about a 75-footer, and McLean sends it down to the other end. Not as far as he wanted it to go, or farther than he wanted it to go, and Wilkinson does win the race, and we get an icing call here. We pause now for this regional break. You're watching San Jose Sharks hockey on Sports Channel. 4-0. There's your time remaining in the third period, Dennis.
And Pavel Bure is out there again, and if you can imagine getting 7 shots and having nothing for it, can you imagine Brett Hull? If he'd had 7 shots, he'd have had about 6 goals.
An unbiased observation by Mr. Dennis Hull.
And I was also talking to his brother, who's a professional football player and lives here in Vancouver. His brother,
in the
Bart.
BC, huh?
Right.
BC Lions?
No, Ottawa Rough Riders.
Oh, he just lives here. Okay, back out to the point. A shot taken by Diddick, and it goes back in behind the net. Bure being chased off by Hammond, trying to bring it out in front. Hammond trying to tie it up and get it away. And here's Ojic. Back out it comes to the Sharks. Still hasn't left the zone, however. Now it comes out to center ice. Larionov goes back and picks it up, carries it behind his own net. 11 minutes remaining, third period. And the Canucks with a big 4-0 lead. Sharks working on their 6th period without a goal. After beating Philadelphia Friday night and getting 2 of those goals in the third period, they haven't scored since, either against Montreal or here tonight. And the Sharks, who are not deep in scoring power, have certainly been hurt by the loss of Mullen with injuries, and then the loss of Kissio tonight. Here comes Vancouver, back up the left wing. Bure drops it for Adams. Adams tries to skate right in, carries it in behind the net. Got a man out in front, but it's deflected away. Sharks get it out to the blue line, but it doesn't leave the zone. Odgers with a hard check on Jyrki Lume. Here's Wilson, gets it to center to Evason, over to Odgers. Odgers up the right wing, being hooked, carries it in, goes in deep at the circle, in behind the net. Chance here for more. He just ripped it, and it wouldn't go in. Back to the near side. And we get a whistle for a high stick deflection. So 10:08 to go, third period, 4-0 in favor of Vancouver. And we'll be back on Sports Channel.
Flipped Greg Adams' stick out of his hand, which is why the puck could come back to Jason Moore, because Greg Adams didn't have his stick, and Jason Moore really did rip it, and McLean makes a fantastic save to protect his shutout.
Protect his body. That thing was hit. Holy smokes. All right. Face-off comes out to the point to Wilson. His slap shot deflected off the skate of Odgers. And back out to center ice. Taken by Cron. His pass broken up at center ice. Cron gets it back, shoots it in. Hackett goes back and picks it up. Jeff hasn't given up a 4-goal game in a long time, but they've just been all over him tonight. 31 shots in the game. Odgers in his own zone. Can't get it out. Held in by Adams. Now Fenton just pops it up to center. And back it goes to Dana Merzen. Merzen back over to Cron. And back down it goes into the Sharks end of the ice. Behind the net to Moore. Near side over to Wilson. Wilson gets it out to the blue line and just barely offside, but the Sharks will get time to clear it back out. And shot in by Everson as the Sharks continue a line change. Bozak comes on with Berezan. Shot back in by Vancouver around the boards to the near side. Just over 9 minutes remaining. 4-0 game. And the Sharks will play again tomorrow night, so another 2 nights in a row battle. Here it comes down to the near side to Wilkinson. Wilkinson takes it behind his own net.
Well, the Sharks have come back in the third period before and scored 3 or 4 goals, but I think they surprised some teams. I don't think the Vancouver Canucks are going to let them back into this one if they can help it.
Portnoy looking for his second goal of the night, sends it through the crease. Back out to Lidster. Ronning, who's been terrific tonight, sends it to the far boards. Back out to the point to Dirk. His shot, a deflection, blocked away by San Jose. And it goes down ice. Looking for it is Herkus. He can't get there. McLean has it easily. McLean has 3 shutouts in the first half of the year, and he could be on the way to number 4. Trevor Linden in his own zone. He gets it out to center to Ronning. Ronning races up the left wing, loses it to Neil Wilkinson. He gets it to Herkus with Bozak. Bozak trailing. Herkus with the shot, deflected upstairs into the seats. So a line change and a face-off in the neutral zone as you look at Tony Herkus, who has certainly played well for the Sharks, but Dennis, I know, terribly frustrated. He had 7 points in his first 7 games. Now it's 7 points in 13 games. Okay, the Sharks still have limited group seating available for future games. For groups of 25 or more, call Mary Lewis at 408-28 Sharks. Some group seats are available for January 28th against the Rangers, January 30th against St. Louis, and February 4th against Hartford. Mary Lewis, 408-28 Shark.
Well, Tony Herkus has had a tough time simply because he missed most of training camp and the first 30 games of the season. Yep. So
the puck goes down into the Vancouver zone, comes around the near boards, back out to center. Hammond goes over to McGill. Up the right side to Sullivan. 8 minutes remaining. Shot goes to the near boards. Back out to Hammond. His shot goes wide. Around the boards to Randy Gregg. The Olympics coming up. Gregg took a year off from the Oilers to play in the Olympics in '88. Back along the near board. Sullivan picks at it. Can't quite get it. Fergus. Left side to Vaughn. Oh my. Right out in front to Sandlack. And good play by Hackett as he holds on to the puck. 7:39 is all that remains here in the third period. And Vancouver with a big lead. We'll be right back. And a lot of water and towels out, but they're happy because they got a big lead, 4-0 right now.
Well, they seem to have the game well in hand, and without Pat Quinn, their coach, who's left his assistants in charge, and he doesn't leave any special orders. They just get the coach as if they're the head coach, and they really appreciate that.
Behind the net to Jay Moore for San Jose as the puck goes out to center ice. Jyrke Lume chases it down to the neutral zone. San Jose takes it back. Up ice comes Pat Falloon. He carries it in, goes to the right wing. Falloon goes in deep, trying to center, but nobody there. And now here comes that man again, Pavel Bure, putting on a skating clinic, but not a shooting clinic so far tonight. Maybe he's trying out for the Olympics in a few weeks.
Yeah, and speed skating.
Because he's got it. He's fast. Here he comes, trying to go through the defense, and he tips it in on Hackett, and Jeff makes the save. Boy, when he gets the feel of this league, he's going to be sensational. He is really quick.
Well, maybe he'll never score. Who knows?
Let's take a look at it again.
Well, here he's using his speed, and he splits the defense And after this play, he took a look at the referee, wondering why there wasn't a penalty. But it's 4-0, and Andy has things to do after this game.
7 minutes to go. Pavel Bure, who managed to get out of Russia because Igor Larionov went over last spring to find out whether or not it was even legal for him to be drafted by the Vancouver Canucks. There was a question whether or not he'd played enough international games for Russia, and Larionov somehow able to find that out as you look at the total shots. Now along the near boards, it comes back out to Lidster. His shot saved by Hackett. Zettler clears it over to the far side. And here comes San Jose into the Vancouver zone. McLean clears it away back to center. 6:50 to go. Back it comes to Craigwell. Craigwell over to the far side, gets it to Wilkinson. All that racket, by the way, is the crowd entertaining themselves with the wave. Along the near boards to Craigwell. Nedved looks for the puck along the boards. Coming in on it is Herkus. Herkus shoots it behind the net. Now it comes out to the point. Held in, turn around, and a shot just wide by Herkus. Back it goes to Craigwell. Craigwell out in front to Tony again, and his shot goes wide behind the net. Back to Zettler. Zettler battling there with Kron. Herkus out in front to Craigwell. Right down the middle. Here's Presley. He shoots, and McLean again makes the big stop. Presley gets the puck back and puts it wide of the net. Well, I'll tell you, if McLean gets the shutout, he's earned it. He hasn't had a lot of shots, but he has a tremendous amount of quality shots to deal with. So there'll be a whistle and a face-off. 4-0 Vancouver, under 6 minutes to go here. And we'll be just back in a moment on Sports Channel.
McLean stays right with him, goes down, and Wayne can't get it up past him. But he gets another chance, and McLean is down and sort of in an awkward position, but still makes the save. And Lidster decided to get a penalty after that.
This is only the second power play of the night for San Jose. They trail 4-0. 5:50 to go, third period. And offside. Wilson tried to save it. He did it the way you're supposed to do it. Just keep playing and hope the whistle doesn't sound about you, but it did. So the Sharks in a tough spot here now, and of course back to Calgary tomorrow night.
Right. Well, they're in a tough position here with just 5:47 to go. I think what they'd like to do, obviously, is score a goal and get a start on tomorrow night's game. But McLean certainly has been sharp tonight, as he has been all year from talking to the Vancouver people.
He'll be in the All-Star game for the second time in his young career. Here's Doug Wilson breaking out of the San Jose zone with 5.5 minutes to go. Power play for the Sharks. 1.5 minutes to go on it. Sullivan has it, drops a pass, broken up, cleared by Diddick, but only to the point. Now off to center. Wilson goes back and takes it. Doug drops it to center. Over to the near boards, brought in by David Bruce. Bruce goes in deep. He's got Sullivan, but it's poked into the corner. Now Bruce keeps it, though, out to the point. A good deflection that time. Well done by Vaught. Gary Vaught out of the University of North Dakota sends it back to Neil Wilkinson. Sharks make a line change, and Craigwell comes out on the power play with Presley on the left. Herkus on the right. He goes to the far boards. Tony looking for it there. Gets it to Presley. Presley wanted to center, but there's nobody out in front. Now Herkus with Craigwell trying to go into the slot. Still in control of the Sharks. Presley, behind Hammond. He couldn't get his stick behind to pick it up. And some room here for Larionov to shoot it down the ice. Now the Sharks come back. Still a little more time on the power play. Wilkinson passes across to the right wing to Presley. Nice fake. Moves in. Shoots. Save. McLean. Rebound. Still out in front. Backhander. Hammond. Held on to by Kirk McLean again.
Well, the Vancouver Canuck team has played very well tonight, and Kirk McLean also has played very well, but he's going to protect his own shutout if, in fact, he gets it with some great saves here at the end of the game, and the fans really appreciate his effort. But here's a nice move by Presley, who walks around the Vancouver defenseman, and McLean stands up strong and makes a great save. But, you know, McLean looks very relaxed. He never looks tense, Joe. He looks real relaxed. And I really think that's the reason we can play so many games. He doesn't tense up. He just seems to be very, very relaxed.
Does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Presley, his next goal will be number 100. He'd love to get it before this game ends with his shutout still looming.
Not for the year, though, Joe.
No, career. Behind the net deficit. Back to the near side it goes to Odgers. Back in behind to Dean. Gets it to Fenton. Couldn't pull the trigger. Back to Evison. Evison still has a man out in front. Quick shot goes through the crease. Back over to Doug Wilson. His shot. Sharks are really pushing to get that goal. Back it goes in behind the net. Back out it comes to Evison. His shot deflected. McLean holds on there. Back it comes past Wilson down the ice. And the teams are back at full and equal strength. Well, maybe it's because the sun came out today, but I've never heard the Vancouver fans any cheerier than they are here tonight.
Well, they certainly have something to cheer about. A great hockey team.
They've been waiting 20 years for a year like this. That's the time remaining in the third period. Ronnie knocked off the puck. You know, they haven't been over 500 in 15 years. Odgers shoots it down to the Vancouver zone. Back to get it is Doug Lidster. Along the far board, Sharks in a line change. Craigwell Berezan out on the ice. Perry has it for San Jose. Spins, gets it to Mike, or to Dale, and it comes back over to Ronnie. Nice lead pass. Here's a chance for Courtnall. Stops on a dime, gives change and shoots. And it's blocked by Hackett. Up the right wing boards it goes. Berezan carries it in deep. His slap shot deflected. Back in behind the net. 4-0 Vancouver. Back out to the point to Wilkinson, and his shot deflected upstairs into the seats.
Well, Jeff Hackett certainly hasn't given up this game. He's still playing strong, and except for a couple of deflection on that power play, the Sharks would still be in this game.
Yeah, that was the killer, wasn't it?
Right. Kirk McLean also playing a strong game, but Jeff made a nice save on Jeff Courtnall, who's the goal scorer extraordinaire.
You mentioned that the Canucks, as we look at their bench, have really made an effort to bring Western players back to their roster. Many of these players are from British Columbia, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and you know, they grew up watching the Vancouver Canucks, and it's real nice for a player to play for a team that he really idolized. And you know, you see the Toronto Maple Leafs doing that as well, and the Montreal Canadiens bringing players back that are from that area.
Hammond now back in his own zone, sends it over to the far boards, flips it to center for Bozak.
We're going to have a difficult time doing that in San Jose, however, Joe.
I'm afraid you're right. You got that right. Here's a steal by Berezan. Turns around and the shot deflected off of Lume's leg. Goes back out in front. Chance for Berezan. He goes for the corner and McLean holds on. Well, this is no cheap shutout if he gets it. He has really made some big stops.
Well, you know, it's a combination. You know, the Vancouver Canucks obviously have the game well in hand with a 4-goal lead. So it's just human nature to let up a little bit for the forwards, but never for the goaltender. And Kirk would dearly love to get his 4th shutout. But look at how, can you see, Joe, how relaxed he looks?
I mean, a day in the park,
yeah, he doesn't look tense at all. And I've really never seen a goaltender look so relaxed while the action goes around him.
That's a great asset if you can keep it. Because it makes your whole body relax.
Yeah, it sure
right?
does.
I mean, your flexibility and your quickness and everything, huh?
Does he know he's playing for Vancouver?
Doug Wilson with a shot. Sullivan tries to put it in on him, and it goes back in behind the net to Craig. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Now the Canucks skate to center. This will be, if they hold on to it, their 5th win in 6 games against the Sharks, and the most one-sided of all the games played between the two teams. Puck in the neutral zone, goes back down to the Vancouver end. One remaining game will be in San Jose. Back out it comes to the point. Doug Wilson holds it in. Back out again, it comes to Sullivan. Sullivan backhands it. Right out in front. Here's Bruce, a shot to goal. It trickles in off of Kirk, who had it on his glove but just could not keep possession. And the Sharks break the shutout with 1:50 to go.
And Kirk McLean wasn't too happy there with the good doctor, Randy Gregg, and gave him a look that might send him back to the hospital. But David Bruce, a former Vancouver Canuck, very happy to show his old teammates a little bit. But here's Pat Falloon, right. A nice pass by Pat Falloon to David Bruce. And as you can see, the Vancouver Canucks left Kirk McLean to his own ways, which weren't enough to stop it.
That's the 11th goal of the year for David, and that is the most on the San Jose Sharks. So he has taken the lead ahead of Pat Falloon, who has 10. Now the puck down in on Hackett. Right in, Vancouver can't get the shot away, and Bruce comes back up the right wing. Shot by Neil Wilkinson, rolls in. 1.5 to go in the game. Give an assist to Falloon on that goal by David Bruce.
And that sent a lot of the fans home who were just staying to see the shutout.
Back in behind the net, Sharks have it. So maybe I'll give them a little lift heading into Calgary for tomorrow night.
For sure, they've certainly played well the last 10 minutes here.
Puck rolls out in front. It's an empty net, and McLean got a little lazy on that one. After the shutout gone, he may be down a little bit. Here's Courtnall breaking in. He shoots it high. Back over to Presley at the far boards. He and Courtnall tie up there. And that's the time clock in the third period.
And Jeff Hackett has had enough of Courtnall, and as he went by, he gave him a little spear as he went by.
I'm not surprised. Got to be frustrated by him about maybe anybody else on the ice tonight. Setting up 2 goals and scoring 1. So there's David Bruce, who has spent time in a lot of cities in the last couple of years, including this one.
And he was always right on the bubble here, you know, talking to Pat Quinn. He's such a nice guy, and they always wanted him to be part of the team, but he was just, you know, on the bubble and didn't quite make it. So Pat Quinn and all of the people here in Vancouver are very happy to see David Bruce doing so well in San Jose.
Kirk McLean's particularly excited.
Yeah.
And back out it comes into the Sharks end of the ice. Back to get it is Hammond. And you see the clock time remaining. Third period. Puck comes to the blue line, but not out. McGill goes back for it. Hammond chases it down behind the net. Now Kenny in his own zone out to Fenton. Fenton right wing. Gets it to Odgers. Odgers in his first game back after a long absence with an injury. Goes in behind the net. McLean clears it away. Back into the corner and taken by Ronnie. Ronnie shoots it to center, but it hit a skate off of Courtnall. Back in to get it now is Trevor Linden. To the near boards. Hammond keeps it in. Moves in. Quick shot, no good, and cleared away by Ronnie. Goes in behind the net. Under 10 seconds. Back to the near board. And down the ice. Sharks will chase it down, and that's just about going to do it. McGill takes the puck, and it's over. That is not a ship in the harbor. That is the horn sounding the end of the game in Vancouver. So Jeff Hackett gets some well-deserved praise from his teammates. He played a terrific game, but that guy was sensational tonight as Kirk McLean came close to a shutout. He gets the victory for the Vancouver Canucks. They win it by a score of 4-1. The shots on goal in the third period, but let's take a look at the scoring summary as Ronning scored, and this was the key to the game. These 2 power play goals, Ronning from Courtnall and Linden at 23 seconds, and then Courtnall from Lume and Fergus at 1:08 made it 4-0 and changed the whole nature of the final period. And Bruce's goal simply averted the shutout. It's 11th of the year from Falloon and Sullivan at 18-10 to make your final score what it is here tonight, a score of 4-1 as Vancouver gets themselves the victory. Tonight's San Jose Sharks game is brought to you by your local cable operators. Cable makes your television come alive. Let's pause now for a regional break. Watching San Jose Sharks hockey on Sports Channel.
Winter
Tonight's National Hockey League game has been a presentation of Sports Channel America.